pledge love and loyalty to we country salute. My how we there, my how we born. We sweet salute. We not for make this country fall. Mama salute. We let we salute. At this we land we love. We not for make them fall. We let we salute. Then they thief the money, then they fly. They London, they Dubai, then they bye. We there, we just a try. This year don't come up and dry. Then they thief the money, then they fly. They London, they Dubai, then they bye. We there, we just a try. But this year don't come up and dry. We pledge we love and loyalty to we country salute. My how we there, my how we born. We sweet salute. We not for make this country fall. Mama salute. We let we salute. But this we land we love. We not for make them fall. We let we salute. But this we land we love. We not for make them fall. We salute. For the wreck the country. It's a witch. For the wreck the country. I guess a carpets, Gaman Keraka, Gaman Koneka, Gaman Keraka, Chamucham, Gaman Monica, Kai Bomb, Gaman Koneka, to present for the wreck the country. It's a witch. For the wreck the country. And they go and they beg. Then come and shake. The people that they gen. Then Haga wa shem. They make me hope to chicken and the picture. Now we hope for today and the future. Forgive them by scripture. They make me hope to chicken and the picture. Now we hope for today and the future. Don't forgive them by scripture. Pledge love and loyalty to the country salute. My how we there, my how we born. We sweet salute. We not for make this country fall. Mama salute. We let we salute. But this we land we love. We not for make them fall. We let we salute. We salute. As in no place like home. I like it, I can talk them, I like it, I can fight them.
Yes, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, good day, wherever you are. Today is going to be my last show for 2025. I'll be taking a short break until Friday, the 2nd of January. And I want to thank members of this community who have been regularly listening to me for being part of this process. It's a long process. It's going to take time. As a professional teacher, I understand what it means to bring change. Change, as I've always said, is a mental process. It's not a physical manifestation. The way we think is what we become. The way we think is what we manifest. So therefore, the change has to begin with our beliefs, our perceptions, our attitudes, our understanding of our environment and the demands of our environment. This is not a process that can be undertaken by one person. It's a collective process. And this is where we're getting it wrong in most parts of Africa. We think having one strong man ahead of us as leader, our problems are solved. Life doesn't work that way. Look at the universe. Look at everything that you know. There is always a composite, a chain, a collection. It's not a one man, one thing. Even the description of God as it is given in religion is in plurality. It's not in singularity. Both in the Bible and in the Quran, we see plurality. It's expressed in different ways. In the Bible, it said directly, let us, not let me. In the Quran, we are told God collected the angels. That's plurality. So, if we are to make change happen, if we are to enjoy change, we have to begin to think of a society that can be collective, irrespective of the differences we have in our beliefs, in our perceptions, in our attitudes. We have to find a way to create a framework that will be sustainable enough to keep these diversities going as a singular unit. And this is where governance and the governance culture comes in. Over the last week and more, I've been dwelling on what is cultural, which most times we don't pay attention to. Most times, we want to be who we are not. We have been colonized and we are still colonized because we want to use models, even though the principles around those models can be classified as universal principles. But the application of these principles has to suit our local or cultural needs. This is where we have not been able as a people. And when I say people, I mean the Black race. We have not been able to consolidate our efforts to create a culturally friendly adaptation of these Western and other foreign models that we want to adopt, especially in the area of governance. We are still colonized. We think and want to be like those who colonized us. Yes, the principles these people used are universal. Democracy is not a Western concept, it's a universal concept. There is an African form of democracy. There is an Asian form of democracy. There is a Chinese form of democracy. There is a European form of democracy. Democracy, as a matter of fact, is not a political principle. It's a social principle that allows peaceful and sustainable coexistence of people. We make choices because all of us cannot sit in that one chamber that we call parliament. We make choices because all of us cannot sit on that one chair that we call the seat of the head of state. Those people that we choose have been chosen to represent each and every one of us interest, each and every one of us talent, desire, aspiration. So for us to get this picture right, we have first and foremost to understand our cultural situation. We have to understand our cultural orientation. What kind of democracy did we have before colonialism? What kind of political culture did the colonialists build? What are we doing presently, post-colonial? These are the areas we have failed to address or to research. And this is why we have very unstable political culture on the continent of Africa. And of course, coming back home to my country, Sierra Leone is part of a greater West African region that you can look at from two levels or three levels. First, you take the upper Guinea coast. That's from Mauritania as far south as La Côte d'Ivoire. That's the upper Guinea coast. That part of West Africa has very much a singular culture with variances. That part of West Africa has very much a culture that has been grown over time because of environmental and other conditions to produce political cultures that we have still not understood. The last time I spoke about the strongman, warlike culture, political culture, that's the Faama culture. And also I spoke about the consensual authority culture, that's the Mansa culture. We have both of these in Sierra Leone, and it's across ethnic lines. The only unfortunate side of it is that because of a period of autocratic colonial rule, we have unconsciously come to accept the Faama culture, strongman warlike culture, authoritarian culture. And this is why, or one of the reasons why, we're having so much political instability, because there are areas in Sierra Leone that are not used to this kind of authoritarian rule. There are other areas, well, by default of centuries of experience, etc., they are used to it. And the danger is that we have attributed ethnocentrism alongside these political cultures. And as a matter of fact, the political cultures have little or nothing to do with our ethnicity. So as we are going to the close of this year, I would ask that we take time out to pay attention to some of these things. On my side, I have been with much distraction from other issues, actually. I've been putting together an infrastructure that would have a website coupled with this platform and an online radio station wherein the sole purpose will be to discuss and even to lecture where necessary research materials that I've had access to over the last 5 and more years, so that we begin to understand who we are. We need to do that because modernization is not about borrowing somebody else's culture. Modernization is about improving on who you are, improving on your culture. This is where we're failing in Africa. This is where we have failed woefully in Sierra Leone. We are a lost race. We practice culture for the sake of ego, showcase. Most of the processes that we practice, we don't even understand the origins of it. Today, I listened to AYV with the British High Commission and who was it on board? Britain is annoyed with us for not doing this about FGM. Yes, fine. But who is Britain to come and tell us about FGM? They can advise us. Our women have the right to say, okay, we cannot continue with this because of this reason. You see, because we don't understand our culture, because we don't understand the origins of these practices, we tend to take what we are told hook, line, and sinker, and in the process, we miss the point. For a lot of people, FGM is about Bondo. Bondo is separate from FGM. FGM is a practice within the institution. The institution itself originally was a training school for girls when they are in passage into womanhood. They are trained for maternal care, they are trained for home economics, etc., etc. Even with medicine, herbal medicines, they are trained for that. Is it because of FGM practice? Yes, I agree. We have to stop that practice. Nobody will support such a practice at this time. But sometime in the past, it was good for the people who did it. So let us amend it. If people think because Britain and the rest of the world are crying out about this, so they should be going asking for money, coming to form NGOs and doing lit sweet nothing, then now the High Commissioner is coming to say, oh, Britain is annoyed. Well, let them be annoyed. Please be annoyed. Our homework should be, let us take a position of research to understand these issues. Drop those that we want to drop, that we feel are not good for this time, like FGM is not good for this time, then continue with the institution, modernize it. We can use the Bondo Society for several national development projects. We can train people, top members of the Bondo Society, to perform national duties that will enhance the development of the human resource of Sierra Leone. I'll give you an example. Because we don't understand what education is all about, we don't see the relevance of kindergarten education. The most important stage in human development is the stage of cognitive development, when we begin to understand the world as it is. And that stage begins from year 1 up to year 5 or 6. That's when basic concepts and imagery about the world are built. That's when most people get traumatized. That's when people in good environments develop their capacity, which at later stages can be seen as genius. There was a time in Sierra Leone, because of inadequacy of trained personnel, we had this community health program that was training women to do maternity services, etc., in the villages. We can bring that back, train these women in the village, let there be kindergartens. Teach these children in their mother tongue. Teach them to play and learn concepts that will benefit them at a later stage. I remember when I was in the primary school, we had a teacher, a good soul, may her soul rest in peace, Mrs. Taylor. She was my first primary school teacher at Songo, Rural Amalgamated School. She would get cartoon boxes, this paper that is flexible. She will draw apples. She will draw all of the things she wants to draw, make it like a television. In class, she'll be turning it. We talk about it. We discuss it, etc., etc. That was what helped us to build strong concepts that has taken us through life. They learn by play, the Maria Montessori method. It's not rocket science to do. It takes correct thinking. Simple, correct thinking to get these things done. Get the people in the villages, the women, get the Bondo society involved. Get some funds for that. Let them do kindergarten training for kids. For example, if they have an organized women cooperative, they will say, okay, whilst we go and sell in the market, whilst we go to farm, these ladies, because they went to school, they can read and write, and they speak our mother tongue, let them take care of the children. You have somebody to head that unit and supervise it. Let the children begin to learn basic concepts of science, of economics, of technology by play, and let it be done in the mother tongue. Next year, I'll be spending a lot of time on a model of education that I think can work for us. I understand that has already started, but it's like we are doing it in piecemeal and we are doing it wrongly. Because in Sierra Leone, education is about university. University is not the education. Education begins from conception until the time we go through secondary school. That's when we build our concepts. That's when we build our character. That's when we build everything. If there are gaps at that time, you can go to university and come out empty. And I think we have a lot of that in Sierra Leone. Empty university graduates. There are a lot of people who say they have masters, doctorates, etc. When I talk to them, I listen to emptiness. I have to be very honest. They just talk book to me. They preach and quote. That's not education, that's learning. Education is your ability to apply your experiences, and learning is part of the experiences. You can get it formally or informally. You don't have to go to a Western school to be educated. Before the colonialists came, our societies, poor society, Bangbani, Wunde, Bondo, etc., these were learning schools. They were institutions that taught different skills, technical, health skills, etc., etc. They even trained lawyers. It will surprise people that we had traditional lawyers. It will surprise people. But we left all of it. We wanted to become Europeans. Now we don't even understand the European way of life. So where are we now? Zombies. And some of us, I have decided that I'll take up the task of guiding us back to go to our cultural selves. China has developed because China has never left its culture. They are modernizing their culture. Norway has never left its culture. It's modernizing its culture. What you call Christmas is Norwegian culture. It's not Christian culture. It's a negotiated agreement between the Roman Catholics and the Nordic people. The Feast of Nisan was accepted. Jesus was not born in December. He was born in April. Go and read your scriptures. The time frame and the historical records of the birth of Jesus points to April, because historically it's in April that census was done in the Middle East when the Romans controlled the Middle East. Christmas is Nordic culture. It's the Feast of Nisan. And who is Nisan? Nisan is what we call Runsho. Dombosui. Nisan is Runsho. Dombosui. The elf man. For those of you who read the book Rumpelstiltskin, it's Nisan they were talking about. There are a lot of things we have been made to believe. And some of these things are not facts. We have been grossly misled, and we left what was real, what was actual, what was organic to become what the late Jimmy Cliff sang about. What was the title of that song? The synthetic world. We are now synthetics. That's why over the last 20 years, because we have been overcome by synthetics and chemicals, we are all big and obese. In our days, as small boys, we would hardly see obese people. And our people ate natural food. They ate cassava leaf, they ate palm oil, etc., etc. Natural foods, and they were not obese. Today, you'll see people in their 20s, in their early 30s, they're as big as what? I had to fight obesity for over 4 years. We have to learn. Africans have to learn. Sierra Leoneans have to learn. This is one thing we look as a difficult. It's not a difficult thing. You do it all the time unconsciously. So spend some time consciously to do it. Every morning you wake up, through the day, you learn unconsciously because you go through experiences. That's informal learning. Now that we have internet, we have everything, people spend their whole day at plus. If there is any time above 24 hours, there are people who spend it on WhatsApp and social media, talking, preaching hate. Please, in 2026, let us minimize. And for those of you who think you are state persons, going all over social media talking crap, Please, in 2026, keep quiet. The world is moving towards peace. Let peace reign. We know it's going to get difficult. It's going to get tough. But we're moving from the epoch of warlike mentality of the human race to an epoch of enlightenment of the human race. And where there is enlightenment, there is peace. There is peace. Let us begin to learn the habit of research. There are certain things, if they say it to you, go and find out. What I have learned from Sierra Leone is such that today, if they come and tell me, oh, that has happened, I say, okay, fine. It's not because I'm not interested. It's because I want to take time to find out myself. I don't have time to be cursing and fighting. I have time to be saying what is right. So I take time to research and get the facts before I make commentaries on it. And I would implore everyone to take that attitude in the year that is coming. We need to, as a people, we need to sit together, talk to each other, not talk at each other. We need to create an understanding. If that set of people like Faama, give them their Faama governance. That set of people like Mansa, give them their Mansa. Use decentralization. Use decentralization. Make it efficient. The Kingdom of Norway is one of the most highly decentralized countries you would ever find. There is 3 levels of state governance, and there are 2 parallel governments in Norway. I'll repeat that. There is 3 levels of state governance, and there are 2 parallel state institutions in Norway. You have the municipalities, which you may equip or equate to districts or maybe to our chiefdoms, whichever way you want to look at it. Then you have the provincial government. There are 19 provinces in Norway. Each of them has its own assembly and its own governor, provincial governor. Then you have the national government. But it's not only the political structure controlled from Oslo. The municipality plans its own development. The municipality contracts its own development. The municipality is in charge of its own health and education up to junior secondary school. The province is responsible for senior secondary and university. Then the national government is there basically as a policymaker and an oversight. It doesn't interfere with what the municipalities or the provinces do. The only thing is, when a province or a municipality asks for budget, it's given to them. There are national standards that have to be met in the contracting. If they are not met, that will be something they have to account for, or the money spent for that project will be deducted from the annual budget. That's how things are run here. Then, on the parallel governance, you have the Norwegians who are in the majority. Then towards the north, from the middle of Norway to the north, you have another set of people, those people we may call Eskimos, who are found in Finland, in Sweden, in Russia, in Norway, and even in Iceland. But in Norway, because of their language, their culture, etc., they are given the free hand based on a mutual agreement, social and legal agreement. They are given the free hand to elect their own leaders into their own parliament. There is a second parliament in the north. That is for those people. They are called the Samis. They have their own parliament. They use their language in their region. They use their language in their educational system. They use their language in everything they do. But everything they do, because of the mutual agreement they have with Norway, as they are part of Norway, is done within the policy frameworks developed by the Norwegian government. So we have two parallel governments and three levels of decentralization. And because of that, there is stability in this country. There is trust in this country. When a society builds trust, when the governed build trust in the governors, then society makes progress. In Sierra Leone, it's the reverse we have. In most parts of Africa, it's the reverse we have. And we always go, hey, it's Europe that is, no, Europe is not Europe. Europe is taking advantage of us because we are not doing it right. And it's not their business to go and tell us to do it right. If you get yours, you know, able to run them, you call me for run them, I go take advantage. You have yourself to blame. Yes. You have yourself to blame. Do it right. India suffered the worst form of colonialism in the British Empire. Look at them today. Look at India today. Since 1940, what that they got their independence. Look at them today. They have developed their omolanke into an international good. We use it in Sierra Leone and call it keke. The keke was like rickshaw. It was omolanke with seats to carry people. We up till now, we cannot even improve on our grass houses. We cannot even improve on the building materials we have. We would want to import iron rod, we would want to import cement, etc., to build houses. It's not Europe or whoever that is disturbing us. It's us disturbing ourselves because we don't think straight. And by the grace of God, some of us will do what we can within our professional capacity to get us to understand that we cannot be somebody else but who we are. There are parts of Africa where the culture stands strong, and we see what is happening. Nigeria is an example. Nigerians are making progress. It's an overpopulated country. Yes, they have oil, but the oil is not circulating. But they are making progress because they are within their culture. The Igbos, they have their cooperatives, they have their apprenticeship programs. It's cultural. They use it. The Yorubas, the same thing. Aliko Dangote, the richest man in Africa, his grandfather was head of the groundnut export cooperative. They made money. At one point, Aliko, after leaving university, he asked for some loan. They gave it to him, and he didn't misuse it. He built on it. And since that time, he has built on it, made himself what he is, and it's not only him. When you go deep into the Dangote industry, you'll see There are other people, several people that have been made. But in Sierra Leone, we would want to go and take our brothers' children. We come and use them to make money, and we don't develop them and want our children to develop the way we think. You have to change a lot of things. Let's stop pointing fingers at politicians. Yeah, our politicians are us. Julius Madabe is doing exactly what all of us are doing. Bullies. We are bullies. We are slave masters. We do all the bad things. But because we are not on the receiving end of the cake, we would always complain. Please, in 2026, instead of complain, let's ask questions. If anybody has a question to ask, feel free to direct it to me. If I don't have the answer, I'll research and give you the answer. Let us begin to think of how we can make Sierra Leone into a sustainably functional country. I don't have to be head of state to be part of that. And as I've said before, I am the foot of state. Without the foot, the body cannot move. And one thing I came to discover recently out of research is that our feet are very important to our daily existence. As a matter of fact, it has been scientifically proven that people who grow old naturally begin to die from their feet upwards. That's why as we grow old, we get slower because death begins down. It's the feet that connects to Mother Earth. And when you want to leave Mother Earth, that's where the disconnect begins. So please, my dear Sierra Leoneans, let us take this holiday to do some introspections. Let us find time to inquire within ourselves. Let us ask, what can we do? How can we do it as individuals? It's not about you having an NGO at a time like this, calling children to cook for them. That's not what we need. What we need is, how do we create sustainable systems and institutions that will ensure that the greater majority of our people have access to build themselves up, they build their talents, and then be part of the wealth creation system. You cannot have 8 million people and just 500,000 doing all the work, looking for money, and then the rest of Sierra Leone is fed with charity. It doesn't work that way. It cannot work. Let us begin to look at how we're going to build national institutions, national systems, national processes that will allow everybody. If that man is a basket weaver, let him weave his basket in a competitive way and be able to export it and make money. The Ghanaians have built the Ashanti of Ghana, have built a whole industry out of their kente. They're exporting it. Madagascar, they've built a whole industry out of raffia. They're exporting it. We have a lot of goods, cultural goods in Sierra Leone. We only need to have an organized way to look at things and do things. And that leadership should come from us, the intellectuals. It's not from one person at State House. Here we need a get leader. No, we have leaders, but the leaders are just there not thinking about how to build. They're there thinking about how to consume. The Faama mentality, strongman, warlord, operation, how do they call it? Operation help yourself. That's what's the kind of political mentality we have. Some of us who were in Sierra Leone during the war, we saw a lot of it happen. please, let us take time out to do introspections. Let us take time out to ask the necessary questions. Let us take cognizance of the fact that the wide world out there is no longer a friendly place. It's no longer a friendly place. Dependency on assistance has to stop. Dependency on running away to look for green. There is no green pastures. The greener pasture is everywhere. If you can work for it, think about it, plan for it, then the pasture will be green wherever you are. If you don't think and plan and work for it, then the pasture will never be green. Maybe the pasture here has electricity. Maybe the pasture here has clean water. But apart from that, if I fold my hands and feet and don't do anything, tomorrow morning they will take me out of this house. Yes. We'll become homeless, me and my family. The pasture is always green, but it's inside us. It's in our heads. The future is in our hands. As we come into the new year, let us take time to begin to understand life. Let us take time to begin to build humanity. When people have humanity in them, they have respect for each other. They don't create trouble for each other. As we're coming to the new year, let us take time to begin to build our divinity. The divinity in us is the power to create, not the power to destroy. May the spirits of the universe be with all of you. Have a happy holiday, and I wish you a happy transition into the new year, 2026. Thank you very much. I'll talk to you on Friday, the 2nd of January.
We pledge love and loyalty to be consensual. My how we there, my how we born. We sweet salute. We not for make this country for. Mama salute. We let we salute. But this sweet land we love. We not for make them for. We let we salute. Then they thief the money, then they fly. They London, they Dubai, then they bye. We there, we just a try. This year don't come up and dry. Then they thief the money, then they fly. They London, they Dubai, then they bye. We there, we just a try. But this year don't come up and dry. We pledge with love and loyalty to be country salute. My how we there, my how we born. We sweet salute. We not for make this country fall. Mama salute. We let we salute. And this we land we love. We not for make them fall. We let we salute. And this we land we love. We not for make them fall. We we salute.
For the wreck the country. It's a witch. For the wreck the country, for the wreck the country. I guess I carpets, Naman Keraka, Naman Koneka, Naman Keraka, Chamucham, Naman Monica, Kaipom, Naman Koneka, 2%. For the wreck the country, for the wreck the country. It's a witch. For the wreck the country, for the wreck the country. And they go and they beg. Shem, the people that they gen, then Nagawa Shem, they make it the chicken and the picture. Now we hope for today and the future. Forgive them by scripture. They make it good, the chicken and the picture. Now we hope for today and the future. Don't forgive them by scripture.
I heard love and loyalty. So we country salute. Here we there, here we born. We sweet salute. We not for make this country fall. Mama salute. We let we salute. But this we land we love. We not for make them fall. We let we salute.
We let we salute. We let we salute. I say no place like home. I like it, I can talk them, I like it, I can fight them.